everyone, in this lesson we're going to look at the first 4 bars of the jazz standard There'll Never Be Another You. It's a very interesting jazz harmonic progression and there's a lot you can do with it. Let's get into the lesson, and if you'd like to get a PDF for this lesson, please check out the link below. So to understand these chords, I think it's a good idea to start with a 1-6-2-5. This song is generally played in the key of E flat. It also sometimes is played in G, but E flat is probably the most common key for this jazz standard. So if we think about an E flat, 1-6-2-5, if we have 1 bar of each chord, we'd have E flat for 1 bar, C minor, F minor 7 and B flat 7. That would be basic diatonic 1-6-2-5. And for the most part, the melody of this song will work with those chords. The problem is this chord right here. If that was a 1-6-2-5 and you have an A natural, then we've got a B flat 7 there, so you're going to have, an A flat and an A together, which is no good. So that's why a 1-6-2-5 doesn't work in this song, and we need to adjust that. We'll get to that last bar in just a second, and we'll figure out some options we can do there. So if we kind of just reverse a little bit and we think about the first two chords, then we've got E flat and C minor, and it's going to F minor. Now in jazz, basically whenever you get to a 6 chord, if it's diatonic, whilst this is a 6 chord, and then we're going to go to a 2 chord, it's also 5-1 of F minor, right? But it doesn't sound that effective. So in jazz, what you hear a lot more of is, so it's, instead of going 1 diatonic 6 and then 2, you might get 1 dominant 6, maybe even with a flat 9, and a 2, and it just has a better resolution, a little bit more crunch, a little bit more harmonic interest. So if we just basically kind of look at the melody at that point, with a diatonic C minor it would sound like that, but it has much more kind of dramatic and harmonic interest with that dominant 7th chord there as well. So that's basically the first initial substitution, is basically making a chord quality substitution on the 6th chord. Rather than having a minor 7th there, have a dominant 7 flat 9 or any kind of dominant really. You could, get a dominant 7 flat 9 like that. Wherever there's a 5 chord, you can always place a 2 chord. Like that, right? So, and there you can hear when a G minor 7 to C7, and if you want you could keep a G bass note in there as well, or you could do and play the chords afterwards, right? So you just create a movement by doing that. So rather than just going once again to that basic 1-6-2, we've now got just sounding much more interesting, much more harmonically open. I think we should probably address that last chord. So the last chord in a 1-6-2-5 is B flat, but as I've said, the melody at that point is an A natural. So if we play the B flat 7 chord, it doesn't really do much. So we need something else there. And now one progression in jazz that you hear a lot is this kind of thing. 1 chord, sharp 1 diminished, 2 chord, and then sharp 2 diminished. And it's basically kind of interchangeable for 1-6-2-5, especially in something like a rhythm changes. Rhythm changes 1-6-2-5 could easily be played like that, right? So regular 1, 6, 2, 5. And then with the walk up, you hear that on things like Ain't Misbehaving, and it's pretty much interchangeable. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because in the key of E flat, that would give us E flat, E diminished 7th, which we'll get onto in just a second, F minor 7 and F sharp. So we know that that's a good substitution for a 1, 6, 2, 5. And if we think of an F sharp diminished 7, then what dominant 7 chord is that? Now this is where some students get a little bit lost, because you've got to know a little bit about diminished harmony. So this chord is basically a D7 flat 9. So what you've got to do there is basically kind of think of, you could think of a D7 flat 9, but an F sharp diminished gives you that kind of rising bass note sound. Like that, right? So that will take care of that melody. If you play a D7 flat 9, that will work just fine, or you could think of that as an F sharp diminished. We can hear now with the melody. There, if I played A minor 7, D7, you get that result, and that's fine, but it could also be a diminished chord, and that will work fine with that melody, because on the next bar resolves to E flat, so it's a good resolution to make. A minor 7, D7 can go to E flat, or sometimes you even see G minor written there as well, with basically the same chord as E flat. So that's why that last chord has to be substituted in that way. In the second bar, the C7 can also be substituted for an E diminished chord for the same reasons, right? So that's a C7, but that can also be a diminished chord too. So that could be an E diminished 7, and that's why that substitution works. If you don't know about those type of substitutions, then I do have another course which explains how to convert all your dominant 7s into diminished chords. It's usually a little bit of an obstacle to get over, but once you understand it, it's not too bad. So that's why that C7 can also be an E diminished chord. The last two examples are a little bit more advanced. They build on what we've already learned, but they offer good harmonic potential on a tune like this. So the first thing that I'd like to teach you how to do is use a back cycle to the 2 chord. So in the key of E flat, the 2 chord is F minor, and we know we can set that up by playing a 5, 5 of 2, going to F minor, but we can also do this kind of thing. So there I was basically adding a 4 chord. So in the key of E flat, you can play either an A flat 7, A flat major 7. Doesn't really make too much difference because it's only there for a short period of time, but it just creates a cyclic movement to the 2 chord. You hear that in many, many jazz standards, you know, things like Have You Met Miss Jones, I Thought About You, loads of different tunes that have back cycles to a 2 chord. Pennies from Heaven as well is a good one, or like I said, the Fats Waller tune, Ain't Misbehaving, also uses that as an example. You can see that the A flat 7 works perfectly with the melody as well. It's a little bit of a handful grabbing that chord as well, but it does add a lot of nice movement within the chord melody especially. But it's also good for comping, it's good for single line ideas, which we'll get onto in a subsequent lesson. But you can just now hear the difference. We've gone from initially at the beginning of the class comping like this, now going to this. So there's much more harmonic movement within the second example, really. Of course, the first one, minus the last chord, is also fine, but it's much more interesting, I think, to add some of these chords. And, you know, if you're interested in finding more about back cycles and stuff, I've got a full course on how to back cycle to a 2 chord. So there's many other ways to get to that 2 chord. they all create movement and interest within a line, basically either a chord melody or just comping or even improvisation, so it's a nice concept to study. The last example deals with spread triads. We're basically now going to play chords which are a little bit simpler, but they've got less movement. So it's more about voice leading on the guitar, this one. So in the first bar, we're now just playing an E flat with the third in the bass. Second bar, that's getting us our dominant 7. Third bar, F minor with the third in the bass. And the last bar, we've got D7 with the fifth in the bass. So once again, we haven't quite got chromatic walk up, but we've got a lot of common tones between each of the voicings. So that works exactly the same way. Well, not exactly the same way, but it's interchangeable with all the other chords that I've showed you, which is such a great thing about this tune. When you're comping, doing a chord melody, or even improvising, it could be anything as simple as just playing E flat tonal center, or going in each of these chord changes for more harmonic detail. This one leads very nicely up to the chord in bar 5, especially if you put a fifth in the bass in that as well, so it could sound something like this. The first 4 bars of this jazz standard give us a lot of options for different ways to play the tune. A tune like this is great because the melody basically can be open to many different chords, and that should be the case with any of these tunes that you look at. The same thing could be done with something like Have You Met Miss Jones. But I hope that this lesson gives you an insight into a few possibilities on how you can comp, play a chord melody, and look to improvise over the first 4 bars of It Could Happen to You. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.